Yeah. Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man, shit, nigga. They take their head over, nigga.
I bet where Eve didn't Adam, I just play my leg on louder. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hope lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, so they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert. Another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't thieving, this an exorcism. Watch I bless the nigga. With that open blood, then you know I'm gonna get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision. Let me take a picture. Rappers can they spin, I ain't listening. Is effective. If revenge was a woman, now I stroke that bitch like Jake. Time war, we gon' run the summer. It's gonna be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do that. Bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young pay. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he saying something, I ain't hear. This shit like it ain't all who got the gun, it's all who gon' up their fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game change. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the change. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite their hand in speed, you will never get their hand back. He bitching about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, so I kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. A certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow side, yeah, this the real McCoy. Feel like Gullah Jake when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my brain, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' stop, they call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Like, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. And right. Come on, Miss Will. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana since 1969. You understand, we are out here to teach so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians that we are the children of Israel, and that it is high time for us to come out of the spirit of America. You understand? For far too long, we've been following the ways of America. We've been following after their ways, their doctrines, their philosophies. You understand? Being destroyed. You understand? We're following after their ways being destroyed. How? We're being destroyed cunningly. You understand? Right. Our oppressor is very cunning on the way he destroys us. He doesn't come out and just say, it says, I'm making war with so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians. No, he does it in a way with a smile. He does it in a way where he's gonna act like it's a gift to you. Right. Like he's gonna uplift you. He's gonna bring the community together. Right? But really their devices are created to destroy us. You understand? Like right now, it's a huge thing with the Roe versus Wade. You understand? Where you have Black, Hispanic, and Native American women marching alongside white women, saying that they are for abortions. We want our rights. We want to be able to abort our children, right? Now we're all for a woman's right, but not to kill a baby, right. Not to kill and destroy our own children. You understand? That's the way how they've deceived us. You understand? And we have our sisters out there really feeling strong about it. You know, we feel like there's something that has been taken from us. When really that is actually a blessing from God. A blessing from God to tell our sisters that we can't abort our children no more. Right. You understand? Even though a lot of our sisters are going to go out of their ways to go down to Mexico, go down somewhere, you understand, to travel. We're going to travel to places where, likely you may not survive, right? And go and abort your babies and die. You understand? The Lord's going to cause it, make it a way for you. You're going to travel all the way to Mexico to try to get it. You're going to try to get it cheaper. You're going to try to get it done and end up dying somewhere in a place where, well, then why the sister go all the way out there and do that? And she end up dying.
Right.
You understand? Because the Lord is not with that, man. The Lord is against you when you want to turn around and abort your baby, man. You understand? So we're going to let's see. We're going to jump into the scriptures. Let's see. Let's see if I want to jump into a scripture or the video. I'm going to play a video real quick. Okay, right for now we're going to get into the video. We're going to show you a little bit of history about eugenics and the Planned Parenthood and the history behind, you understand, or even the spirit behind what our oppressor agenda is when he puts Planned Parenthood in our neighborhoods, man. So we're gonna jump into that real quick. Let's see what we got. Let's see, we're gonna pull it out real quick. Let's see here. I want to go to second. Jump right into it. One second. All right. Okay, so one second. Let's get into it real quick. All right, bear with me. One second. Sharon. All right, here we go. All right. It's a real good documentary too. I want to share it. I want to put it in the under this video if you want to watch it. Really great video, really great documentary. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where I want to start though. Let's see. Just start.
The insurance companies, railroads, even the newspapers. The fact is that almost every aspect of the American economy was at some level or another invested in the slave business. You also need to recognize that for the wealthy elitists who controlled the system, slaves were an asset as long as they were slaves. But at the moment they are set free, they become a liability in the world. It was called eugenics. And for some, it seemed like the perfect solution to what had become known as the Negro dilemma.
There it is. All right. Now check this out, y'all.
I do not join in the belief that the African is our equal in brain or in heart. And I believe that if we can, in any fair way, possess ourselves of his services, we have an equal right to utilize them to our advantage. Francis Galton, 1857.
Francis Galton is known as the father of eugenics. He actually coined the phrase eugenics. So he believed in trying to increase those he felt were superior in stock and decrease those he felt were inferior. Francis Galton came from a very wealthy family, a family that made its wealth from the slave trade. And what a lot of people don't know is that Francis Galton was a cousin to Charles Darwin.
So check that out, man. Well, Charles Darwin, what his philosophy was, he believed that the white race was superior over the black race. You know what I'm saying? They were the, if you're not blonde hair, blue eyes, then you're not God's chosen people. Basically,
Right.
It's basically what he's saying. He's saying that basically that God chose white people to be the superior race over all nations and to rule the earth. You understand? And in the low class, the less than people, the people that were not God's chosen or were classified as or deemed less than, was the black race. Anything black or native Indian descent, man. That those are considered the less than race, the race that are not superior. They don't have the genetic makeup. They don't have the brain, the mind. You understand? To even conduct themselves civilized. You know what I'm trying to say? Civilized. You understand what I'm saying? That's what he was saying. You understand? But really, the truth is, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, you are the superior race. You are the superior. The Lord says you are the greatest nation to ever walk the earth, man. You understand? You look at the way society is today. You understand why the world is so chaotic? Because our oppressor is ruling the earth, man. You understand? And he doesn't. He's not fit to rule the earth. You understand? He's not fit, and he can't even sustain his people. Right? You understand? And what I mean by that, their race are people that they're dying off. You understand? They're not able to produce babies like we can. You understand? As a matter of fact, even the scriptures calls Esau he's considered waste away. You understand? There are people that the blue eyes. That's a genetic defect, man. You understand? That's a birth defect. It's a recessive gene. The water, priest. You understand? That doesn't make you a greater nation, a greater people. These people are wasting away, man. They're not strong like we are. That's right. You understand? And we're gonna bring it out in the scripture. Baba Kushah, can I get let me get Deuteronomy 7:6, Baba Kushah. Right?
So it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee, man. You understand? The Lord didn't choose other nations. He didn't choose all the other nations of the earth. He chose so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. Right? Go ahead.
To be a special people unto himself. Above all people.
No, equal to.
Above all people.
No, the Lord is with everybody.
Above all people.
The Lord says we are above all people, right? While this whole eugenics program was being created, you understand, they were taking the Bible, right, and using Christianity. They were using Christianity, which is a doctrine that is not synonymous with the Bible. It has nothing to do with the scriptures at all. You understand? But they'll take Christianity, and they'll take the Bible and don't even know what it's talking about. Don't even go to the scripture where it says, read that again from the top.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
And it says we are what?
A special people unto himself.
We are a special people. And it also says we are holy. You understand? We are a holy people, meaning the word holy goes back to the word kodash, which means separated. You understand? Meaning we shouldn't be going to protest with our oppressor, you understand? Telling them to overturn the Roe versus Wade, telling them that we need to go abort our babies. We need to have our rights to make our choices. You understand?
Right.
We have the right to choose if I want to have a life in my body and if I don't do or I don't. My body, my choice. Go on. You understand? That's not our movement, man. You understand? Let our oppressor follow that and live with that philosophy, man. That has nothing to do with us, man. Because the scripture says we are what?
A holy people.
We are a holy people, man. We're not like our oppressor, man. Our oppressor loves blood, man. They love blood. They love murder. You understand? It's in their genes and in their blood to want to kill and destroy, man. You understand? Not ours, man. This is why we have so much compassion. You understand? If we didn't have all this compassion, we would have rose up and fought against our oppressor already. But we have a very forgiving spirit, man.
Right.
You understand? We have a very forgiving spirit when it comes to our oppressor. You understand? And unfortunately, with the philosophy of eugenics, the philosophy of the real philosophy of Planned Parenthood, we don't have that compassion for our own people. You understand? Right. Because their philosophy is what? That the superior race is the white people. Right. You understand? They're the greatest people. That's why they have a white Jesus, a white Christ, and a white God, white angels. You understand? So we have compassion for them, but we won't have a compassion for a black face or a Hispanic face or Native American. You understand? We look at them, our own people as the lesser race, or the weaker race. You understand? Because that is what eugenics is about, man. It is about looking at our own people as less than. This is why that's the only way to get you to abort your children. Right? You understand? Matter of fact, we don't get into the documentary. We're gonna let the documentary pull it out too. Let's get back to it real quick. Right?
Francis Galton took Charles Darwin's philosophies and ideas and thoughts, and he actually put them into practice, and that's what we know today as eugenics. Eugenics and evolution are related in that they both see what they consider to be the highest form of primates, such as the gorilla, as almost indistinguishable from what they consider the lowest form of human, the African and the Aborigine.
At some future period, not very distant as measured by centuries, the civilized races of man will almost certainly exterminate and replace the savage races throughout the world. The break between man and his nearest allies will then be wider, for it will intervene between man and a more civilized state, and some ape as low as a baboon, instead of as now between the Negro or Australian and the gorilla.
Check that out, man. I want you to understand that they're comparing us to gorillas and apes. You understand? When you really look at it, they're more closely. They look more like apes than we do. You know what I'm saying? Apes don't have lips, right? Apes don't have lips and nothing like that, right? They look the same. If you shave off all of the hair off of ape, they would be white.
Right.
You understand? So you gonna try to compare me to something that you look like? You know what I'm saying? But let's go ahead. Let's move on. Right? We're going to jump to let's see. 56. Right? Let's see. Bear with me.
Average white American, but by a select group of wealthy white elitists that had often used this ideology to pit all of white America against Black America. And so we see that indeed that truly is the case even to this day.
Average Negroes possess too little intellect, self-reliance, and self-control to make it possible for them to sustain the burden of any respectable form of civilization without a large measure of external guidance and support.
They're saying that, without their guidance, we don't have the intelligence to survive on our own, to even create a civilization. You know what I'm saying? Civilization, or to sustain a community or sustain ourselves without their guidance. We don't have the mental capacity to do that. You understand? That's what they're telling. They're telling us we act and think just like baboons and monkeys. Right. You understand? When 40 years out of slavery, we had Black Wall Street.
Right.
You understand? We had Black Wall Street while they were suffering from the Great Depression.
Right.
You understand? We do very well when we're separated. When we separate ourselves from our oppressor, we excel, man. You understand? Which proves that we are the greatest people to ever walk the earth, man.
That's right.
You understand? We had Black businesses, we had black hospitals, Black schools, Black libraries, we own our own oil. You understand? We were making trades with other countries, man. You understand? We were on another level, man. You understand? Just 40 years out of slavery. You understand? But our oppressors, they want to say that we are less than them. That just proves that. And why out of all the groups, the minority groups, why did they pick Black, Hispanic, Native Americans to compare themselves to?
Right.
You understand? Because they know that we are greater than them. We're better than them. So say it simply, man. We're better than our oppressor. You understand? This is why they always have to attack us. That's why they always say they are more afraid than they ever been in their lives when they come up against us, man. Right. You understand? When they send police officers after us. This is why they have to use eugenics or medicine to try to destroy us, man. You understand? To try to sterilize us. You understand?
Right.
That's why we gotta recognize. We gotta recognize that we are greater than them, man. And another thing we gotta recognize is that we are at war. You understand? We are the children of Israel, and we are at war, but we don't know because we consistently try to build up. You understand? Build with them. We want to build a nation and in a country with them and have a kingdom with them, really, essentially, right? Let's keep going, right?
Francis Galton, 1873.
Eugenicists believed that Africans were inferior, not just mentally, but physically, and that left to themselves, left alone, they would not make it. The problem is, it didn't work.
Didn't work.
With that failure, the eugenicists moved on to what is known as positive eugenics. In positive eugenics, the eugenicists wanted the white population to reproduce, to have so many children that it overwhelmed the Black population. But that didn't work either. Next, they moved on to what they called negative eugenics. They knew that they could not round up all the Blacks in the nation and execute them, so they decided to create an environment where they would convince the Blacks to severely limit the number of children they were going to have, and thereby commit race suicide.
The problem of the socially fit must be treated not
You was muted?
Yeah. Damn. You understand? It's like we have to realize that we are our children. We are the children of Israel. We're at war, man. You understand? We don't realize that we're at war because we're consistently trying to build up our oppressor's kingdom. You understand? We're consistently trying to build up the relationship between Black and white people when really they don't want a relationship with you. They don't want to build with you. So you want to add something?
And I just want to say, like, they really do manipulate, because even as I'm listening to the video, they start off and they say the African,
right,
and then they just go to the black. They manipulate by trying to join us with the Africans, make it seem like we are all just clumped in as one lump sum,
right,
and we're just not, and that's why they're separating. Or else they would just say the African the whole damn video,
right.
Instead of saying the African right at the start, right when they're about to say something, they say the African,
right,
and then right after that they say the black,
exactly.
the black. They know what they're doing,
right? Exactly. And another thing, you know, they'll use the word black. They'll use the word African. You understand? When referring to us, when we are not African. I just want to make sure that's stated. We Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, we have nothing to do with Africa, man. Negroes in America are not African. You understand? They're targeting the children of Israel. You understand? Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. You understand? And this is the Planned Parenthood. They put those facilities in our communities, man.
right?
You understand? They'll take those facilities and they'll put them in our neighborhoods, in the ghettos, in the barrios, right? While they'll put fertility clinics in their communities. You understand? Because they want them to grow. They want their nation, their children, and their people to grow and become a mighty nation, while we kill ourselves, while we commit Black genocide, Hispanic genocide. You understand? We kill ourselves. You understand? To try to fit in with their community. You understand? Like if I'm just like the sister was bringing out in the video, right? They'll push abortion. You understand? Using words that they'll use words and convince us using words like poor. Like, you can't raise a child, you're poor.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing. You don't have the money to raise a child. Or you can't do that because your child, you don't want to raise a child because he's going to become a criminal, right? He's going to become a degenerate. You understand? They convince you with these words. This is all by design, man. You understand? Our oppressor is very cunning when he hunts and he kills, man. You understand? So let's get back to the video. You have anything else to add?
Nah, I was just on it.
You sure?
I don't know what kind.
All right, no sweat. All right, I'm gonna jump to the. Let's see, 12:45. Second. Kind of hard to gauge it. I should have something. Let's go start. All right.
In the early 20th century, the white elitists who made up the eugenics movement were no longer just philosophers and academics. Now they were industrialists and billionaires who had come to embrace a worldview that was essentially identical to the eugenics movement.
Okay, now that's at the beginning, right? Don't think that billionaires, you understand, billionaires even in this day are not investing into the Planned Parenthood in the eugenics program. They're the same people who you go onto Amazon and you using their products, you going into all these major companies that you put money into. That same money that you use and you purchase your stuff, that's going right into your own demise. You understand? Damn. They know our person knows how to destroy a people. You understand? They're gonna take all that, they're gonna take your money and they're gonna invest into Planned Parenthood, invest into prisons, invest into, you understand, anything to destroy Black, Hispanic, Native American communities, man. You understand? Let's keep going.
For a way to avoid the repercussions of what he's done. This is what happened with slavery. In the early 1800s, as it began to look like the end of slavery might be on the horizon, white America started to be concerned that a day of reckoning was coming. The primary fear for the average person was of retribution and insurrection, and that was a reasonable fear. After all, it's illogical to think that you can do to a whole group of people what was done to African Americans and think that they will just take it lying down forever. And of course, there were things like the Nat Turner uprisings. But for the wealthy elite, their fears went beyond things like insurrection. They were worried about the financial impact. Remember, it was not just the cotton plantations that profited from slavery. Whether you're talking about the banks or the insurance companies, the railroads, even the newspapers, the fact is that almost every aspect of the American economy was at some level or another invested in the slave business. You also need to recognize that for the wealthy elitist who controlled this system, slaves were an asset as long as they were slaves. But at the moment they are set free, they become a liability. And what the elite knew was that the end of slavery would instantly release 4 million people into the economy who had been kept uneducated and effectively unemployable anywhere but the cotton field. And what they were concerned about was that this was going to bankrupt the American economy. Taxes were going to go through the roof to take care of these people. Crime was going to be rampant. The prisons were going to be flooded. There was going to be this population overrun. And in the North, the biggest fear was migration from the South of these Black people. The other fear that these people had was intermarriage between Blacks and whites would lead to a loss of racial purity. The question was, what were they going to do about it? And their initial thought was that they would just send all the slaves back to Africa. This plan was called colonization, and it had broad support among the wealthy elite. In fact, the American Colonization Society was even funded by the United States Congress. But in the end, colonization proved to be unworkable, and the idea was eventually scrapped. But about that same time, a new philosophy was emerging in the world. It was called eugenics. And for some, it seemed like the perfect solution to what had become known as the Negro dilemma.
I do not join in the belief that the African is our equal in brain or in heart. And I Believe that if we can, in any fair way, possess ourselves of his services, we have an equal right to utilize them to our advantage. Francis Galton, 1857.
Francis Galton is known as the father of eugenics. He actually coined the phrase eugenics. So he believed in trying to increase those he felt were superior in stock and decrease those he felt were inferior. Francis Galton came from a very wealthy family, a family that made its wealth from the slave trade. And what a lot of people don't know is that Francis Galton was a cousin to Charles Darwin. Francis Galton took Charles Darwin's philosophies and ideas and thoughts, and he actually put them into practice. And that's what we know today as eugenics. Eugenics and evolution are related in
the black man has never been a competitor, but has always been subservient to the white race. And just so long as he remains subservient, his position is secure. And just so soon as he becomes a competitor, his fate is sealed. Dr. Benjamin Hayes, eugenicist, 1905.
The American Birth Control League was wise enough to get their program of population control across by using what had worked in the past, the same code words that had established the institution of slavery and that was also used by the early eugenics movement was once again used by the American Birth Control League. The Margaret Sangers of those days did not come out and say they were trying to eliminate Black people. What they did say, they were trying to rid society of the feeble-minded. They were trying to rid the society of the criminal. Well, she was successful simply because of her eugenics friends for the past 50 years.
Okay, right? So these billionaires, these rich and wealthy, you understand, who also believe Charles Darwin's theories and his philosophies, you understand? When they were trying to invest in and find someone to push this into our communities, they used Margaret Sanger.
Right.
They chose Margaret Sanger because she was the head of the American, the American Birth Control League. You understand? And her philosophy, she hated Black people. You understand? Right. Her philosophies that were that, which I could bring it on here, but she believed that Black people were like weeds. You understand? They need to be exterminated. You understand? But they needed these rich and wealthy white, you understand, billionaires. They invested into Margaret Sanger's program. You understand? And sent her out to push this agenda. One of these ways, which they just brought it out, right? That they use terms like feeble-minded, criminal, poor. You understand? To convince Black people to abort their children. You understand? And who did she go to? Who did Margaret Sanger go to push these agendas? She actually went to Black pastors, man. She went to Black pastors to tell them about this program that's going to be good for their community, good for our community. You understand? To convince us to abort our children. You understand? There was a time, right? Back in the day, right? Whenever a young Black or Hispanic girl got pregnant, you understand? If you're older, you probably understand this, right? In our communities, if a young Black girl got pregnant, you understand? She got pregnant out of wedlock, right? If she got pregnant, what will they do? They'll send her down south. They'll send her away, to live with her grandmother, live somewhere else, so people won't know that she got pregnant, right? You understand? So when Margaret Sanger, what she did, she used that to her advantage. She used that and talked to these Black pastors and told them, you don't got to send that daughter away, right? You ain't got to ruin her life, right? You can tell her that they can just abort their children. This is another option. So then the pastor will go out there and tell this, you understand, to a congregation of women. Oh, here's an option for you. This is maybe a better option. You can just abort that baby. Let's go ahead and abort that baby. They have a clinic down there in the neighborhood. You understand? It's called Planned Parenthood. You understand? You can plan when you want to be a parent, and choose when you don't want to, and choose when you want to. You understand? And all that sounds good, Pastor. You understand? Whenever there's an agenda being pushed, you understand? It's mainly used through the Christian church, man. You understand? The Christian church will push all evil agendas, man. You understand? Like voting, for example. They'll use it. Politics. What happened to the separation with church and state? Right. You understand? Why are they teaching? Why is politics politics in the Christian church.
Right.
You understand? If you believe that it should be a separation between church and state.
Damn.
You understand? Because it's a nation of hypocrites, man. Christianity is a hypocritical religion. You understand? And that is the religion of this country, man. It's a hypocritical country. You understand? And that's exactly that. They push that message in our churches, man. You understand? Let's keep going.
Years had put those labels on minorities and African Americans, and therefore society was more or less desensitized. In effect, the code words hid the agenda of Margaret Sanger and the eugenists. At that time, they did shift over to what they call the quality of life. It was a philosophy unquestionably used to target the poor, simply because what the quality of life at its core meaning was that poor people really didn't have a reason to live. Only the white, those with status, had any chance of a meaningful or purposeful life. The solution for the poor now was not to eliminate the circumstances that would cause poverty. Their solution now was to eliminate the poor, eliminate the impoverished, and just wipe them off.
Right. That's their goal, man. Their goal is to eliminate, you understand, to exterminate so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, man. That is the whole agenda behind Planned Parenthood. The whole agenda behind pro-choice. You understand? It's not pro. And these words are so I don't even want to. They're so what's the word I want to use? They're not as harsh as kill your child, kill your baby. You're like pro-choice. You should be pro-choice. You have a choice to do this. You don't want to really go out and say that you want to kill your child. You understand? Sorry, go ahead.
I just got a precept.
Oh yeah, go ahead, bring that up.
Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred.
That's funny. I was gonna bring that. Go ahead.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel.
It says they have had a perpetual hatred. You understand? Their hatred has never ceased, man. You understand? Don't think that all the races have died and that was during slavery when they wanted us to die. The Planned Parenthood is not like that anymore.
Right.
You understand? Some of you know that Planned Parenthood was a scientific racist agenda, man.
Right.
You understand? It's scientific racism. So like real quick, in the middle of that, hey man, I encourage y'all brothers to go out and get this book too. This was by Captain Katazai, man. You understand? The ISUPK, the brother wrote a great book, man. You understand? And he goes into a little bit into the scientific racism, you understand, of eugenics, man. So like, go ahead on the scripture.
Oh my God. And have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. In the time of their iniquity had an end.
Right. You understand? And exactly. When slavery ended, that was supposed to be our time to be done with our punishment. You understand? Our time to be done with our punishment from God when we broke commandments, that's when it was supposed to end, man. But when at the time of our calamity, they continued. You understand? They continue to push eugenics. You can continue to hang us from trees, to kill our pregnant women. You understand? To castrate brothers.
Right.
You understand? They continue to have this perpetual hatred for so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. You understand? And that's what we have to wake up and realize, man. We have to wake up and realize that this agenda that they have here, that they've had with Planned Parenthood, you understand, and other institutions, they were created to destroy us, man. It was created to kill Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. So I want to jump somewhere. I want to jump to let me get let's see. 26:9. We'll get to the scripture in a second. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. I'll cut through this real quick. All right. Let's see. Let's go. Okay.
it may be possible that Hitler actually got the idea for concentration camps while studying the American eugenics movement. In 1919, the state of Indiana had allocated $300,000 to create a work colony in the city of Butlerville, where those who were labeled feeble-minded would be incarcerated. Then in 1932, Margaret Sanger called for the United States government to set aside farms and open spaces where certain groups of people would be segregated from the rest of society. She proposed that, among others,
Hold on, real quick, right? Real quick. So she wanted to segregate or designate an area for so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, man. You understand? So that they can, be in certain areas. You understand? So that she can push this agenda. What do they call that today? The projects, right. The ghettos, the barrios. You understand? This is why you see these facilities and typically in our neighborhoods, in our communities, man. Let me show you something, man. Let me just pull this out real quick. Okay, so check this out, right? So this is a chart, right, that shows where these Planned Parenthoods are predominantly placed, right? And check this out. It says the prevalence of abortion facilities within minority communities serves as a major contributor to the rate in which Black women obtain abortions. Accordingly, Black women are 5 times more likely to have an abortion than white women. A recent study released by Presenting Black Life and Outreach of Life Issues Institute concluded that 79% of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are strategically located. Now, look, it says strategically. You understand? This is a strategy. You understand? Located within walking distance of African and or Hispanic communities. This study coincides with historical revelations that eugenicists dating to the mid-1900s argue that the most effective way they could advance their agenda would be to consecrate population control facilities within targeted communities. You understand? In other words, they put their facilities in our neighborhoods, in our communities, to encourage us to abort our children. It puts an option right there. An option right there. When you got pregnant. You understand? We've been oppressed for so long. You understand? The Black home has been destroyed. So the brother's not gonna want to stay there. There ain't no money flowing in the house. You understand? Ain't no education. So what are you gonna do? You're pregnant with, you're young. What are you gonna do? Your whole life is ruined in this community. You understand? In this society. You understand? So the option is what? Go and abort your children, man. Let's look at the chart, right? It shows that, in the red, right, the 79% percentage of Black parents, like a percentage of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities in minority neighborhoods, right? That's 79%. Right, now check this out. Percentage of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities in other neighborhoods, right? This is, you rarely ever see this, right? This is in white neighborhoods, maybe 21%, right? I wanted to bring something else out in regards to that. Let's see. You want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add something real quick. And then when it's talking about when it's talking about the minority, the 79%, it's not talking about Asians,
right?
It's not talking about Samoans. It's not talking about. It's talking about niggas, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It's not talking about the Chinese. It's not talking about none of these. The East Indian. It's talking about us.
That's right.
That's the minority.
That's right. You understand? That's the minorities. The minorities are Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian neighborhoods, man. You understand? To encourage us to abort our children, man. So like it. And let me get Exodus. Let me get Exodus. Let's see. Let me get Exodus chapter 2, I believe. Exodus chapter 2. 1 and 15. Exodus 1 and 15, Bible Shop. All right? And this just goes to show, man, the same agenda that our enemies have. You understand? This is the same one that's going on in here in the States, here in America today, man. You understand? We are the children of Israel. We were the ones that were in Egypt, man. You understand?
That's right.
And we're going to show that same agenda that our oppressor had in Egypt, he has it here today in America, right? Go ahead and read what you got. So let me pull up on the screen so people can read it. Got the Bible shop. All right. Let's get that real quick. All right, bear with me, y'all. It's a lot. All right, let's see. Okay. All right, go ahead.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. Verse 16. And he said, when ye do the office of the midwives to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
You shall do what?
Kill him.
You shall do what?
Kill him.
Why do they want to kill the sons? You understand? The sons are the ones that have the seed, the ones that can produce to children, man. Right? Keep going.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Verse 17. But the midwives feared God.
They did what?
Feared God.
See, that's another issue with our sisters following the philosophy of our oppressor, man. When we follow the philosophies of our oppressor, we don't fear God, man. We don't have no fear of the Lord. So we go and abort our children. We go and teach our children Christianity, Islam, all these things that are created to destroy us as a nation, man. You understand? It's like keep going on that.
And did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives.
So actually, that's it on that. You understand? But that's fearing the Lord, man. When you don't fear the people that can kill you. You don't fear the man that can kill the body, man. You fear God who can destroy the body and the soul in hell, man. Here on earth, man. Because the Lord can destroy you. The Lord can make your life really like pure hell, man. You understand? That's what we're living in. We're living in hell right now today. You understand? But if you don't want to follow God, man, if you don't want to fear the Lord, then we're going to have a hard time here, man. We're going to have an even worse, terrible time, you understand, under our oppressor, man. You understand? What we need to do is start fearing the Most High, man. Start keeping these laws, statutes, commandments, so that we don't have an evil oppressor over us, man. You know what I'm saying? We could have our King Christ ruling over us, man. You understand? But instead, we want to follow the ways of our oppressor, man. We want to follow his philosophies that have destroyed us for over 400 years, man. You understand? Let's get back to the video.
The illiterate, the unemployed, and the poor should be forcibly kept in these areas until they developed what she called better moral conduct.
It was later discovered that under the Indiana program, the state was allowed to label someone feeble-minded if they were poor or did not do well in school, or if the state considered them to be shiftless or have insufficient moral judgment. But it's important to understand that this Indiana campaign was not unlike those in other states. For example, a eugenics project conducted in Massachusetts during the late 1920s proposed sterilization for young girls who were diagnosed as defective, which could include being unwed and pregnant, financially poor, or if the state labeled them socially undesirable. In addition, boys as young as 14 could be castrated for showing signs of kleptomania or for exhibiting what was described as solitary behavior.
In a single incident during 1935, the Nazis sterilized the children of over 600 German women.
Except to save the life.
Trying to rid society of the feeble-minded. They were trying to rid the society of the criminal. Well, she was successful simply because of
eugenic abortions would promote racial hygiene.
If you don't, another thing, if you don't know that, if you don't understand that, if you don't, I don't know if you caught that in the video. Hitler, he adopted the philosophy, you understand, from our oppressor, from our oppressor here in America. You understand? That's where he got the sterilization of black people, you know, even living in Europe, man. You understand? You got something to say?
Yeah, I also wanted to bring out, you know, like you can just know that, you know, for a fact that they're still doing this to us today. Just even with my oldest, I took 2 pregnancy tests that said that I was pregnant, and when I went to a clinic just to fully confirm that they confirmed that I wasn't pregnant at all.
Wow.
You know, and this clinic ended up being shut down, you know, for protest for the abortion situation. You know, shortly after that, but it just goes to show that they're still trying to destroy, you know, because I mean, after that, I mean, I could have done anything to self-terminate myself, you know, my own pregnancy, but luckily I went and got a second opinion after that, and it came back accurate, but yeah, they told me for a fact that I wasn't pregnant, even though I already had proof that I was. Yeah.
Good night, man. See, that's good night, man. That just goes to show, man, the water for the speaking system, but damn, man, that just goes to show how evil our oppressor is, man. You understand? Our oppressor has an evil disdain for us, man. You understand? Why would we think that our oppressor means well for us? As a matter of fact, I want to pull out something too. We are under, because I'm glad you said that. Can you read this out? Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, read this for me, right? We are the most underrepresented nation on the planet, man.
I'm right.
You understand? Let me see. Yeah, read that from me, Barbershop. This is read that and then I'll get back to you. All right.
All right. Underrepresented minority list. Progress and pitfalls is underrepresented minority. Minority.
Right. So underrepresented minority list. Right. So they have a list who is not or underrepresented. You understand? In the country, right, or in the world. You understand? And these are in subjects of what are in medicine, technology. You understand? Education. We are the people that are underrepresented. So, like, can you read that from the barbershop? That's what I'm shooting. Yeah, that's good.
All right. Underrepresented in medicine means those racial and ethnic populations that are underrepresented in medical professions related to the numbers in the general population.
Right.
This lens currently includes students who identify as African American, Black, African American and or Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American.
Now read that one more time. Who's in there? Who's on that list, Barbershop?
Got on one kind. It is the African American and or Black, Hispanic, Latino, Native American, American Indians.
The water, please. Dang, you understand? We are the most underrepresented people, you understand, on the planet. And that list says who? Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians. We've been saying this since the 60s, man. Since 1969. You understand? It's under Commander General Hunter. That Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, we are the children of Israel, man.
That's right.
You understand? We are the ones that are despised in the earth, man. We are the most despised, the first fired, the last hired.
Right.
You understand?
Dang.
We're hated by all nations, man. You understand? Living on the bottom of society, man. You understand? I'm gonna show you something else in this video, man. I'm gonna show you something. It's right on time. It's right on time. Let me pull it out real quick. One second. Let's see. There we go. Pay attention, right? Check this out.
And protect the health of the German people. This new policy eventually led to certain women being threatened with execution if they refused to abort what the Nazis called racially worthless babies.
At about the same time this was going on in Germany, the government of Bermuda was blanketing the island with population control facilities and openly stating that their intent was to limit the numbers of blacks. Then in 1958, blacks in the Caribbean rebelled against a Planned Parenthood-led birth control campaign that was exclusively targeted at non-white residents, while at the same time, prosperous white residents were being encouraged to multiply. Following a similar pattern, a 1965 article in the Pittsburgh Courier newspaper reported that under apartheid, the white South African government was relying on targeted birth control as its primary weapon to reduce the number of blacks in the country.
Unfortunately, we now know that the U.S. government was not immune to this sort of thing either. When 3 pro-choice researchers investigated the original motive behind the creation of the abortion pill, RU-486, what they discovered was that the scientific basis for it was actually developed in the United States during the 1960s by the National Institutes of Health at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In their 1991 book, these researchers claimed to have found data showing that this agency was looking for an inexpensive and effective drug to control the populations of foreign countries that the government had classified as underdeveloped. The abortion pill was to be tested in these environments, and if successful, the plan called for it to then be introduced into Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities in the United States.
And
Hold up. So did you catch that, man? Now, who are the children of Israel? Black, right? Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. That's right. That's who they're targeting. They're targeting God's chosen people, man. You understand? Just like he said in the article, man. Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians are the ones that they target in these with eugenics, man. With Planned Parenthood. You understand? Because we are the children of Israel, man. We are the same people that were in Egypt. You understand? The same ones that were living in Egypt. They see that we are going to become mightier than them. We're going to become greater than them. So what they got to do? They gotta find cunning ways to convince us to abort our children, man. You understand? So like I'm keep going. I'm gonna back up just a little bit. I want to hear that again. I want to hear that one more time, sir. Y'all gonna hear that one more time? Did you hear that?
Developed in the United States during the 1960s by the National Institutes of Health at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In their 1991 book, these researchers claimed to have found data showing that this agency was looking for an inexpensive and effective drug to control the populations of foreign countries that the government had classified as underdeveloped. The abortion pill was to be tested in these environments, and if successful, the plan called for it to then be introduced into Black, Hispanic, and Native American communities in the United States. Planned Parenthood. But
you understand? That's the agenda, man. The agenda is to exterminate or to convince. Let's say that is to convince Black, Hispanic, Native American Indian women. You understand? To commit. You understand? Black, Hispanic, Native American genocide, man. You understand? These things are not made created for us, man. It's not made for us to get us to become a stronger nation. It's to get us to destroy ourselves, man. You understand? So like I'm gonna get this, right? And I want to also say this, man. Stop thinking that you understand that a lot of our old folks, a lot of our parents and our grandparents, they believe that if we vote in the right person, or we get ourselves into politics and get the right people in the office, and we're gonna have where I'm looking for. We're gonna have a foot in it. We're gonna have a seat at the table. Not a seat at the table. It's not only where I'm going, but we're gonna be more in a better position if we get the right political leader in office, man. You understand? Or in a right political seat like a mayor or a governor. You understand? But that is not the case either, man. You understand? Because voting, anything in this country that this country has to offer you, it's not for us, man. It's not for Black people. The only thing that's here for us, man, for Black, Hispanic, or Native American Indians, is the ISUPK under Command General.
That's right.
We are the last stand, you understand, for Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians to grow in this country, man. You understand? We're the last one. The Black Panthers tried it, they failed.
Right.
The Civil Rights movement tried it, they failed.
Right.
Right now, currently the Black Church, which they damn near finished, you understand? Because COVID-19 knocked them out. They're done. Farrakhan is done. You understand? We're the last stand, and we've been telling you this since 1969.
That's right.
You understand? We're gonna prove it. We're gonna show you that, man. We're gonna show you that real quick.
Became suspicious of the organization after noticing that Black neighborhoods in his city were, as he described it, saturated with Planned Parenthood facilities, while neighborhoods that were just as poor did not have a single one.
In an article published by the Black Muslim newspaper Muhammad Speaks, Greenlee said he had also discovered that deceptive material being circulated in the ghettos and delivered to the homes of Black women, warning them that welfare recipients who had additional children would lose their public assistance. Greenlee knew that wasn't true and concluded that Planned Parenthood was pushing a hidden agenda. It was then he severed his ties to the organization and started working against it.
The idea is to make less niggas so they won't have to build houses for them. If we keep producing, they're either gonna have to kill us or grant us full citizenship. Dr. Charles Greenlee, Civil Rights Act of 1968. It is strange that they chose to start talking about population control at the same time that Black people in America and people of color around the world are demanding their rightful place as human citizens and their rightful share of the material wealth in the world. Jesse Jackson, 1977.
It is interesting how everyone assumes that the pro-life movement in America began in 1973 with Roe versus Wade. But we who were around during the civil rights movement and struggle of the 1960s, we know that the first anti-abortion groups were organizations like the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, and other community organizations. These folks were speaking out against both birth control and abortion long before the contemporary pro-life groups of today existed. But one of the problems with the civil rights movement was that there was far too many men and women who were willing to sell out the community. And a lot of powerful, influential African Americans knew that they had to be willing to turn and look the other way in order to advance their own personal political agendas.
In 1972, those members of the Congressional Black Caucus, such as Charles Diggs, did not trust the abortion industry or those who were espousing population control or family health, and they were suspicious of them. But when the money began to flow, and just as it was with Jesse Jackson, he found out that indeed he could get funding and monies to run for presidents from these people, he flip-flopped in his position. Because he once said abortion is Black genocide. What happens to a mind of a person in the moral fabric of a nation that can abort a baby without a pang of conscience? Where will we be 20 years from today? But when Reverend Jesse Jackson realized he needed money to run for president, all of a sudden the most important civil rights issue is a woman's right to choose.
In 1975.
Hey, so you see that, man? See, our leaders, I won't say our leaders, the leaders, I'll say it that way. Our leaders in the Black community, you understand? In the Black Hispanic Native American community, man, they can be persuaded or swayed with money, man. Right. You understand? Because they love money. Just like our oppressor loves money. Our oppressor worships money. You understand? When you want to be just like your oppressor, you're gonna worship money too. You understand? And that's what another thing you should realize. Can we get a Zephaniah 11:5 Bible shot? That's another thing we got to realize that these leaders like Jesse Jackson, like Al Sharpton and T.D. Jakes. Let me get Zephaniah 11:5. Oh, I mean, let me get Zechariah. Zechariah. That's what it is. Sorry, Zechariah 11:5. You understand? When we follow the ways of our oppressor, man, you understand? You're gonna love money. You got the love of money. You understand? and they're gonna be persuaded. You understand? With dollars, with money. You understand? They're not gonna have your best interest at heart. You understand? They're not gonna think about, let's help build our nation and our community, man. You understand? Let's put better schools in there. Let's not push abortion in our communities, man. You understand? Because what these leaders do, they prove that they hate black people. They actually don't love us, man. You understand? They're no different than our oppressor. Why do I say that? Because they love our oppressor. They see our oppressor as God. They had a white Jesus hung up in the damn bathroom. You understand? They're gonna look at it like, they're gonna look at it as so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, man, as not their people. You understand? They're gonna look down on us. They're not gonna pity us when we're dying, when we're struggling, when we're going through hell, when we're aborting our children, man. They're not gonna have that compassion on us, man, because they're gonna have that same heart as our oppressor, man. The same mind as our oppressor, man. You understand? They see us as just another commodity. No different than slavery. Slavery, they look at us as cattle. You understand? As sheep. It's something you can just kill, man. You understand? So you get a scripture?
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty.
They do what?
Hold themselves not guilty.
No, they're not going to hold themselves guilty because they now convince us to abort our children, man.
Right.
They put these Planned Parenthoods in our neighborhoods, and then they convince us. You understand? No different than the serpent in the Garden of Eden, man. You understand? The serpent told. Let me get that scripture while we shot. You know what I'm saying? If I may. As a matter of fact, hold that. Let me get Genesis 2. Let me see. Should pull that. Let me see. I got you. I want you to get that scripture from me. You understand? So go and show, man. Just show the same that serpent, that same spirit is in our oppressor, man. You understand? He didn't make Eve, you understand, go and learn from other nations, man. You understand? He didn't make Eve go and change and follow other cultures and religions, man. You understand? He didn't do that. But he convinced Eve to do so. You understand? He convinced Eve to follow the ways of our oppressor, man. You understand? Or follow the ways of other countries and other nations and other, you understand, other societies, other doctrines and religions. You got that? All right, cool. Most likely. Yeah, go ahead. Cool.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord had made.
Uh-huh.
And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat from every tree of the garden?
Right. And that's another thing about us following God's commandments, man. Just like the Hebrew midwives in Egypt, they feared God. When we don't have no fear of God, we're not going to follow His commandments.
That's right.
We're gonna go and listen to whatever our oppressor says. Right. This country swear, but now they were built. The foundation of this country was built on the Bible and the beliefs of the Bible. But meanwhile, they passed laws for us to break God's commandments. You understand? Like a man marrying a man, a woman marrying a woman.
Right.
You can abort, you can kill your baby. You understand? These things are against the Most High, man. And this is the same spirit that was in the serpent, man. Right? Keep going.
Got on verse 2. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the tree of the garden.
Uh-huh.
Verse 3. But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, Ye shall not eat of it.
Uh-huh.
Neither shall ye touch it, lest you die.
Right. Uh-huh.
Verse 4. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die.
He said, now, let me ask you this. Did Adam and Eve, did they die when they ate from the tree? Did they end up dying?
No.
They didn't die, right? They didn't die physically, but they died spiritually, man. You understand? How do you die spiritually? Meaning they suffered the curses, man. You understand? That's what that's why we're spiritually dead here in this country, man. We're spiritually dead in the land of our oppression, man, in the land of our captivity. where the land where we believe that we should have pro-choice and abort our children, man. Where we can do whatever the hell we want to do. You understand? As a matter of fact, the spirit that Adam, so like that the serpent gave Eve, is he told the black woman that she was God.
Right.
And you can do whatever the hell you want to do, and treat your body however you want to. And don't let no man tell you what he can do with your body. You understand? That's the same thing. Our oppressors, these so-called white women, they teach to our black women, man. Or better yet, they'll tell another homosexual man, a black man, they'll put that spirit into the homosexual black man, and then he'll put it in the sister's ear, man. You understand? It's your body, your choice, right? Go ahead, sister.
I just wanted to add, we sit alongside your person, and a lot of people don't want to see that this is like racially bound sometimes, but they need to understand that like their sacrifice is like a necessary sacrifice for their greater purpose of what they're trying to do. And they think that this is like an all coming together thing. No, they're willing to sacrifice their own people to sacrifice us. That's
right. They're willing. And then get us in your hand, man. Good night. You understand? That just goes. Good night. That goes to show that's how the perpetual hatred, which the brother brought out, which is an outstanding scripture that the brother brought out. Ezekiel 35:5, man. They have a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel. Their hatred is so great that they're willing to kill themselves, right, in order to kill you, man. Damn. You understand? Like the water, for example. Right. Our water is poisoned. It's full of all kind of fluoride and all kind of the stuff that'll kill you. But who's drinking the water? Everybody's drinking the water. That's right. We're all drinking the water, and the same people who put the poison in the water is also drinking the water. Right. You understand? All in hopes to kill you, to kill so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians, man. You understand? We gotta wake up, man. So like, can you go? Yeah, go back to Zechariah 11:5, Bible shot.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them,
they do what?
They that sell them,
no, go back.
Hold themselves not guilty.
They hold themselves not guilty, right? When they're out here putting these Planned Parenthoods in our neighborhoods, they hold themselves not guilty. They put their hands up like this, like, look, it's your choice. It's your choice. You got pro-choice, pro-life, whatever you want to do. It's a free country. Your body, your choice, right? While you kill and murder your own children, man. You understand? They put and you don't even know. They don't even tell you the real agenda behind it, right? They hold themselves not guilty, right? Go ahead.
And they say, and they that sell them say, "Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich."
But they what?
I am rich.
Who are the ones that are funding the Planned Parenthood and the eugenics program? The rich. The rich are the ones that's doing it, man. You understand? And they've been doing it since the beginning of that program, man. They've been doing it since during slavery. Because all these rich programs and organizations and billion-dollar businesses, they all push and fund the agenda of eugenics, man, of Planned Parenthood, of Black, Hispanic. They pride themselves on that. You understand? On destroying Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indian communities, man.
Right.
You understand?
Can I finish that out?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And their own shepherds pity them not.
Jesse Jackson was what?
Their own shepherds pity them not.
And your own shepherd. Jesse, we just watched that in the video, man. Damn. That's why that's so heavy, man. So Lockie, I'm gonna back up one more. We're gonna hear it one more time. And I want you to read that one more time.
Oh my gosh, shit. Damn.
One second. Right there.
Same time that Black people in America and people of color around the world are demanding their rightful place as human citizens and their rightful share of the material wealth in the world. Jesse Jackson, 1977.
It is interesting how everyone assumes that the pro-life movement in America began in 1973 with Roe versus Wade. But we who were around during the civil rights movement and struggle of the 1960s, we know that the first anti-abortion groups were organizations like the Black Panthers, the Nation of Islam, and other community organizations. These folks were speaking out against both birth control and abortion long before the contemporary pro-life groups of today existed. But one of the problems with the civil rights movement was that there was far too many men and women who were willing to sell out the community. And a lot of powerful, influential African Americans knew that they had to be willing to turn and look the other way in order to advance their own personal political agendas.
In 1972, those members of the Congressional Black Caucus, such as Charles Diggs, did not trust the abortion industry or those who were espousing population control or family health, and they were suspicious of them. But when the money began to flow, just as it was with Jesse Jackson, when he found out that indeed he could get funding and monies to run for presidents from these people, he flip-flopped in his position. Because he once said abortion is black genocide. What happens to a mind of a person in the moral fabric of a nation that can abort a baby without a pang of conscience? Where will we be 20 years from today? But when Reverend Jesse Jackson realized he needed money to run for president, all of a sudden the most important civil rights issue is a woman's right to choose.
In 1975, Jesse Jackson called for the ban of abortion through a constitutional amendment. And in an interview in Jet magazine, he referred to abortion as genocide. But Jesse Jackson, on the other hand, wanted to become president. And the Democratic Party at that time had sold out completely to Planned Parenthood and the eugenics crowd. And Jesse Jackson went along to get along. And don't ever think that he was the only one. The unfortunate thing we face, whether we're talking about individuals or organizations, there's never been a shortage of black leaders who are willing to sell us down the river if it's enough money and political power in it for them.
Hey, Sly, read that scripture again, Uncle Show.
God. The book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich.
Right.
And their own shepherds pity them not.
And their own what?
Own shepherds pity them not.
Their own shepherds, man. People that stand up and they say they for black people and they would be running for president, like Jesse Jackson. You understand? They willing to sell us out, man, for money. You understand? And he just said in the video, what? He said, don't think that he's the only one. You understand? The problem is they don't run out of black leaders that are willing to sell out the black community for money, man. You understand? The brother began his I won't say race, but he got into politics with, so he, as he said, he had black people in mind, man.
Right.
He said that he once said that abortion clinics was black genocide.
Right.
So as soon as it was time to run for president, he changed his stance because he knew he could get money. You understand? It says their own shepherds do what?
Pity them not.
Their own shepherds pity you not, man. Like, look, I gotta get paid. I gotta get money. Hey, come on, you understand? Our own shepherds pity us not, man. You understand? Like Jesse Jackson, man. You understand? These people don't have our best interests at heart. Don't think that your pastor will come to you, because I know a lot of your AMEs and your Bethlehem churches is going to push. Oh, you got to get out there and vote. You understand? Because they'll turn and flip and say, oh yeah, we should be voting Republican now, because the Democratic Party is wicked. They're evil. They're for abortions. And then your pastor will come out there and say, well, yeah, just turn around and vote Republican and do this, that, and third. Let me tell you something, man. Just like in the video, none of these political leaders have our interests in heart. They don't think about us, man. You understand? Because they are moved by money. You understand? That's what their job is. They have the same mind, you understand, as our oppressor, man. They love money just like our oppressor worships money, man. You understand? And the scripture says what? The love of money. It doesn't say money is the root of all evil. The love of money. It says the love of money. And they love money more than they love you, man. They love money more than they love Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians, man. You got something to add to that?
Yeah. And the reason they said that, it's like because every single one of our leaders literally has let us down, except one, and that's the man, General Yohana.
That's right.
He is the only one who has not. He's the only one who has not let us down.
That's right. That's damn right, man. That's the only man fit to lead so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American Indians.
That's
man,
right.
Is commanding General Yohana of the ISUPK, brother. You understand? This is where we need to be, sisters. We need to be right here in this school. You understand? Learning under real priests and prophets of the Lord that will never sell you out for no goddamn dollars, man. You understand? That love our people, our nation, man. You understand? And God loves us. God loves the children of Israel.
That's right.
You understand? We have to wake up and realize that there's no love here in this place, man. You understand? So with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Yohana. We're going to go ahead and get the security announcements.
We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother and sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must agree. It's like he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother and sister. Mm-hmm. There is another 6 months where the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to be married. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18:21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'asher. 10% of every penny of any increase given, any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or the teacher. Priest fund, free will offering, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations.
All right, upcoming holy convocations. We have the memorial of blowing of trumpets. It begins the first day of the 7th month, Sunday, September 22, the 25th. You can read about this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 through 25.
Akim and Akwa. Check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. I'll pass the class back over to Officer Nakwa.
Goddamn right. You understand? And to the brother who, I guess I'm kind of confused by the question. Do we follow Christ, the laws, or Moses? Look, brother, look, we follow the Most High, man. We follow Christ. You understand? Christ told us to repent. The only way you can repent is by what? Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, man. You can't repent and continue doing the same goddamn things that you've been doing in the world, and following the same wicked bastard. You understand? Like our oppressor. You understand? Who is the so-called white man? He's the one who is the one who is the mischief of evil, right? He pushes the agenda that Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians should break God's commandments and shouldn't follow no laws whatsoever. That pushes Planned Parenthood. You understand? He's the one that we shouldn't follow. We should be following Christ, man, who told us to separate ourselves from our enemies, separate ourselves from the people that hate us. You understand? And keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And follow Christ. Right? Go ahead.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Right. Whoever committed sin transgressed also the law.
They did what?
Transgressed also the law.
If you commit sin, you transgress the law, man. You break God's laws. Right? Go ahead.
For sin is a transgression of the law.
Sin is what?
Transgression of the law.
Sin is the transgression of the law, man. That's what sin is. And we are not sinners here in the ISUPK. You understand? We don't break God's laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? We follow God's laws. And Christ commanded us. Christ commanded us, just like he commanded the woman down who committed adultery. He said to sin no more. Christ said to sin no more, and that's what we do. We follow Christ. You understand? So I hope I answered your question. You understand? And we're gonna go ahead and move on. Let's go ahead and get the Lord's prayers, right? All right. That's right. Goddamn right, Malachi, priest and officer Malachi. He said it right, man. All right, we'll read the Lord's Prayer, all right? All right. All right, everybody facing the east. All right. Repeat after me. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Haya. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakuka. Taba'ah. Watazayaka. Haya. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Haya. Bashamayim. Nathan. Manawa. Nakam. Call. Yawam. Wasalakanau. Kabawatanau. Kasalakanau. Kabawatanau. Wala'ah. Kabayatanau. Banasanawan. Abal. Hawashayanau. Mayan. Rai. Kaya. Laka. Hamalakwa. Hawala'ah. Hawata Pa'arath. La'aywa Layam. Aman. In English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. So be it. Amen. All right. We're gonna start. We're gonna get the brothers of courtesy salute. All right. Men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Barakatham. Right. Yahweh Matah. Sarah. Turn and face the sisters. Sisters stand. All right. Men of Israel. Amajim Shabbat. Amajim Barak. Yahweh Shabbat Latamba Shem Yahweh. Yanni Matah, dismiss. That's right.
Every time. I get caught up in the last 2 years when we have to say it in the group, but I'm going to say to myself.
Yeah. Go ahead. Come on, West. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Look, I keep it on to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Man, this shit is too easy. I'm on gold, but they don't believe me. You know I'm winning with the team. Screaming Vinny, VG. Hear them devils screaming out bloody murder. I'm about to close the curtain. On my grind, bitch, I'm working. Sorry, all them lies, it ain't working. You niggas weak, they be churching. I'm a West nigga, that's for certain. If he cross the line, I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna hit his ass with this virus. And I come through 300 strong, 144 Leonidas. All my niggas we eat. I'm in this bitch with the itis. Say, all y'all do the sweet. Tell y'all to do the sweet. If a nigga made the wrong move, he make his ass out the league. He ain't one of us hit the lead. He ain't one of us here preach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Look, I keep it loyal to the T. UBK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck, and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell him get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black gully jack, man. All them niggas go retreat.
You see this look that's on my face, bitch? I'm for real with it. I hit the streets, put on my cleats, was in the field with it. You soft as cotton, just an actor, Uncle Phil with it. And then my target's on the move, bitch, I can still hit it. Hey, I speak true cause it's necessary. Gullah Jack revolutionary. Cold on them like January. Commander General is a visionary. Soul food, no sweets. Your preacher man, he's sweet. Matter of fact, he weak. It's wartime for peace. Think you hard, nigga, you ain't. Fuck with us, nigga, you can't. You smart cars, we tanks. We form up in ranks. We body bag this rap shit. All black, no bright shit. Real life, no cap, bitch. Fall on them, that's cap shit.
I keep it low to the T. UPK play for keeps. Ain't shit sweet. Got soldiers on deck and my youngin' did a sweep. This a whole nother way. Tell them get the fuck off the beach. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Nigga, come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. I'm in the field with the cleats. He ain't one of us here breach. Come through all black Gullah Jack, man. All them niggas gon' retreat. Go ahead.
I'm gonna take like 2 or 3.